Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, while addressing the press on Wednesday, Mitch McConnell told reporters that he was committed to preserving the filibuster as it currently exists, in part because there is no, watch this, yeah, there's no racial history to it. Let's take a look at this lying man. Let's take a look at this report.
Turtle.
You argue the filibuster is not rooted in racism. Historians differ on this. Are you concerned about the perception? If it is used against advancing voting rights, certainly the public perception is that Republicans are going to use this tool to make it harder for black people to vote.
Yeah, actually, historians do not agree. It has no racial history at all. None. So there's no dispute among historians about that.
There is no history amongst historians about that. But that's actually a bold-faced lie, right? August 28th, 1957, U.S. Senator Strom Thurmond engaged in the longest filibuster in history to delay the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1957. That's just number one. If you go back a few decades, the late 18th and 19th century, it was used again to halt the process of anti-lynching bills. The first anti-lynching bill wouldn't pass in the United States until 2019, 2 years ago, as a result of the racist filibuster. Mitch McConnell is trying to say that the filibuster did not emerge from debates over slavery or segregation, which, technically might be correct, but that's not the spirit of what he's trying to say. The spirit of what he's trying to say is to absolve the usage of the filibuster over the centuries in this country as a tool to prevent progress for black people in this country. And as it stands right now, Rebecca and James, they are literally using the filibuster as a way to prevent us from securing our voting rights in this country, with House Resolution 1 not being sent over to the Senate because we're not going to be able to get 60 votes. And without 60 votes, they will not be able to pass it. And that's because of the racist ass filibuster. So he's a liar, obviously, but these are the games that they play. And they're playing it with the lives and the voting rights of black people in particular, because as y'all know, in Georgia, they're doing everything they can to keep us from voting.
Yeah. So tell me how this isn't racial. We can start with just that. Like, if you guys are trying to use your laws and to prevent black people from voting, because we know that's what voter suppression is. It definitely it's targeted, for black people and people of color not to get out and vote by any means necessary. So, and especially because the turnouts that we have been doing, y'all gave it to us digitally, y'all gave it to us in the mail. Listen, we're gonna make sure we pull up for this. But they were like, they have to be stopped. So you can't tell me that there is it isn't racial now, and that the history of it isn't racial. Exactly. So having the fact that lynching, where you were discussing that, lynching is still not something that's illegal. Fully illegal. We had to wait till 2019 to present a bill, and I'm pretty sure people have been trying. And finally it was recognized that, hey, maybe lynching black people isn't, we're not supposed to be doing that. Like, that should be something that is done away with. But everything is racial. The whole system, everything you guys created when you stole this land has been racial. And America, I'm talking about America. So, I can't really get with nothing McConnell says. This man is a representative out in Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? And we're a senator out in Kentucky, and we got Breonna Taylor there. This is that same man. So you out of his mouth,
Daniel Cameron is his homeboy.
It's his homeboy, and yes, Daniel Cameron is black, but he don't belong here. We have no room for him, no space, nothing. None. The door is closed.
Black card revoked.
But yes, but honestly, he can't say out of his mouth that there's no racial history, nothing on anything, because clearly, the clear man, but clearly his behind definitely has come up.
Nothing to do with race.
Has come up. There's no neck for him to say any word. That's what that is.
All his voice down there.
There's no neck.
This has nothing to do with race. No, it has everything.
He can only lie. Remember when he said that he was going to speak against Donald Trump after the insurrection?
Yeah.
Y'all got me saying insurrection after the terrorist attack at the Capitol.
Terrorist attack.
You remember that? And then he
Yeah.
turned around as soon as the smoke cleared. He was like, I never said that.
I'm not going to vow. No, we support Donald Trump.
My dude.
The Republican Party is the party of Trump.
We don't support Mitch McConnell. Bitch McConnell. We don't support him.
What?
And
I was
anything
waiting on
that
it.
he says when it comes to racial anything, like, yeah, no, you can't speak on saying
this
that
the game.
the filibuster
This
isn't racial in its history. But go ahead.
But they want to rewrite history. They want to rewrite history, and they feel and they're able to get away with it because they have so many little conservative flunkies, conservative little reply boys who are like, oh yeah, there are so many people in this country on social media right now who are so terrified of cancel culture. Watch me, that they go along with the complete revision of history. And so now the reason Mitch McConnell can get away with saying some stuff like that is because there are hundreds of thousands of people in the comment section like, yes, no, of course, it was not racist. It wasn't. And they're going to actively change history.
Everything
they would rather
isn't race.
rewrite it. They would rather rewrite history than to confront the history that is actually rooted deep in white supremacy and racism. So Rachel said that his voice was a little bit lower. So over the next 4 years, James, take us to it.
Because
That's actually spot on right there.
You're giving a mix. There was I got a hint of Obama in there for some reason. But,
Right.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear.
What we're not going to do is compare. Anyway, let's go to a break.